What would you love to know about me? My name's Luke Scott III, and in this video, I'm going to give you a chance to ask me anything. Live questions and answers. What do you want to know? Some of you have probably been following me for a while, and maybe you're curious about some things. I will be completely honest, completely real and raw with you. So just tell me, what would you like to know? Everything goes. I'll give you some brief background so you can have an idea of maybe what you want to ask. And if you're watching this on the replay, comment below with replay and let me know your questions below and I'll answer as many of them as I can. So Luke Scott III, who is Luke Scott III and why am I called the Third? That's one of the questions I get asked the most. So my birth name is not Luke Scott, my birth name is Luke Jevons. That's my father's name. And when I was around 11 years old, my family, my mum and my stepdad, we switched our names to Scott. So I've been called Luke Scott since I was 11, around then. And Luke Scott's a cool name. It's very short, I like it. But I had this big spiritual awakening and everything in my life changed. And I started meeting these really cool people who had superpowers and they knew loads of stuff. And one of these people does something called a soul plan. And basically every name is a vibration. Anything you put after the words I am is an affirmation that then becomes your reality. So when I say I am Luke, Luke means the light. So when I say I am Luke, it means the light. So your name matters so much to you. And if you don't know what your name means, go check it out. Find out what is the meaning behind your name. You can just find that all out online. So Luke Scott has a certain vibration and that will create a certain pattern. Everything in the universe is a big pattern. It's a big fractal pattern. I just did this incredible post online. It's on all my social media channels. There's a picture of our lungs and then a picture of trees and they look exactly the same. Like there's a design to it. It shows you the tree of life and then the human placenta and they're exactly the same. There's a design to it and there's other things too. Anything you put after the words I am creates a pattern that then becomes your life. So Luke Scott was a cool name. In the soul plan, it's great. There are some really good things about it, but it had a lot of hardship to it. And the soul plan goes based on the phonetics of your name. So it's irrelevant to language. It's the phonetics of the sound. So Luke Scott, that sound vibration will create a certain reality. So we started looking at what else could we call me? What could I change my name to? So the person who did the soul plan with me, she's called Jenny Lion Rainbow Anderjan. So if you want to connect with Jenny, definitely do. She's amazing. Now, I didn't want to be like Luke, Lion, Rainbow, Elephant, like something. Like, I know a lot of people when they have spiritual awakenings, they choose like quite a hippie name, like Sunshine or something. But I didn't want to be that. And so we looked at what would be good options. And on my Facebook account, so Facebook only lets you have 5,000 friends. And I actually maxed out those 5,000 friends because I'm a public speaker. I travel all around the world. I run workshops and retreats and have online courses. So I have a public speaking academy where we teach people how to become great speakers. I also have an academy of conscious sexuality. So we teach consciousness, sex, intimacy, relationships, energy. So 5,000 filled up really quick and I had to make my Luke Scott the second account. So that's Luke Scott with 2 I's on the end I made, which is Roman numerals. And I liked that. It was cool. One of my mentors did it, so I just copied him. Now, around the time of this soul plan, I just filled up that account to 5,000 friends. And so what I was thinking was I was about to start my account called Luke Scott the Third with 3 I's. So I asked her to put that in the soul plan and just see what that would be. And the vibration of the name of Luke Scott III is amazing. It's full of abundance, it's full of incredible adventures and travel. And whether you believe this or not, it doesn't really matter because whatever you believe is true. So for me, I believed this and it felt really good, so I went for it. So I changed my name spiritually and I haven't changed it by deed poll yet, but that's the next step. So what questions do you have? What would you love to know about me? I'm wearing a t-shirt that says herbivore. This is really important to me. My favorite food in the whole world used to be steak, and my favorite drink in the whole world used to be beer. I was into bodybuilding, and I have been since I was 17. And I used to eat 200 grams of protein a day. So I was eating steak and chicken, fish, and everything I possibly could, drinking milk all the time. When I had my spiritual awakening, I started to become really conscious of energy. And I realized that when I was eating these products, for some reason, it made me feel really sad. And there was one day where I was walking through a supermarket and I was walking down the meat aisle, and I just had this awakening. I just realized I was literally surrounded by dead animals. And you don't really see it because they're packaged up as sausages or bacon or burgers or whatever. But I realized I was surrounded by dead sheep and dead cows and dead pigs, and I was like, and I was just crying my eyes out. And that was when I realized the foods we eat, they become us, and these animals, if they're scared, if they're suffering, if they're upset, if they're anxious, and any animal that's about to be killed is all of those things, that gets stored in the meat, because energy, everything is energy, and the energy gets stored there. Then we consume that there, so we consume the fear and the suffering and all the trauma and everything else. So I made a switch. It took me just over 2 years to transition from being a meat eater to being a fully vegan, fully herbivore. I don't eat any animal products now. I never say never, but I can't see why I would be tempted to. And since I made that switch, I dropped 3.5 stone. I'm more healthier than I've ever been in my whole life. I enjoy food so much more. Your taste buds change when you stop eating animal products and you appreciate other foods more. So I also do activism. So I go and I promote animal rights, and I just try and get people to think differently about life, the universe, and their relationship to it, because I don't believe that we're better than animals. I don't believe that we have a right to kill someone because we like the way that they taste. And I think people just aren't really conscious of this. The whole world is waking up right now. This is what my book is about. My book is called Find Your Truth. So it's just been in the last stages of publishing, and it's going to be ready. It's going to be out soon. Find Your Truth. It's a guide to living a connected life. And this is so important, because for the first 27 years of my life, I was very disconnected. I was in a job that I didn't really like. I was working towards goals that weren't really mine, and I wondered why I wasn't happy. And I felt often really lonely because I didn't have many true, really good friends. And I realize now that's because I never actually let anybody know the real me, because I had this cage around my heart from some traumas I had when I was a kid. We have some questions. Amazing. Please do ask me anything. I'll give you a complete honest answer. So we have here from Gabby. She says, what was the event that caused your awakening? Incredible. Gabby, amazing question. So there's a few different stages to my awakening, and this is another part of the Luke Scott the Third story. So when I had my just normal Luke Scott account, I went on this course called the Landmark Forum. It's a 3-day course, and I didn't believe in energy or God or anything like that. I was completely logical, non-spiritual at the time. And so I went on this course, and it completely changed my life. I really recommend it to anyone who loves investing in themselves, who wants to make a big shift. It's called the Landmark Forum, complete life changer. If you want to know more, you can just comment below. I'll send you the details, or you can just search for Landmark Forum. They're in every city in the world. It's all about how your mind works, and it gave me this shift, this realization that I was living my whole life because of some decisions I made when I was a little kid, because I didn't feel loved, because I had some trauma, because I felt like I didn't belong and I wasn't enough. And I created this idea that I needed to be successful. And if I was successful, then my mum would be happy. And I could, if I had more money, I could make my family happy. And so I was just living out my whole life trying to fill out this program that this little kid made. So that was my first, I call it awakening. 2 weeks, for the 2 weeks after that program, I was floating on a cloud. I realized my whole life was a lie, and I was just pretending, and I'd created this persona, this act, and it wasn't really me. So that was the first thing, Gabby. Second part, so that was an awakening, but it wasn't spiritual. My spiritual awakening happened when I was in Vietnam on an island called Phu Quoc, and I had just done my first ever international speaking gig. So I'd been training so hard to be a speaker. I invested over £20,000 in different courses and trainings and programs, learning public speaking. This was since October 2015. So we fast forward now to around June 2016. I've just done my first international speaking gig in front of over 500 people in Vietnam. So I'm like, yeah, I'm on top of the world, right? So I'm really aligned and connected. By the way, at this point, I don't know what aligned and connected mean. Like, they're not in my vocabulary. And so I go to this island and I'm sat by the pool and I decide to do this meditation. I talk all about this in my book, but it's a really great and interesting story. And it's a meditation that my friend sent me. She's called Lynn Avis. She's a really beautiful person. And it's called guardianangel.mp3. And you can get this on Lynn's website. Or if you want to comment below, I can make sure you get a copy as well, if you want to get this meditation. So it's a meditation to teach you how to meet a guardian angel. Now, I didn't believe in any of that, but I was open, and Lynn was able to explain to me very scientifically about God and the universe and angels and everything, so I gave it a shot. And in this meditation, they take you on a journey and you cleanse your chakras. You clear and activate and awaken your chakras. I didn't even know what a chakra was, right? But I cleansed them and it felt really good. And then there's a part where it takes you to meet your guardian angel, and I saw it so clear right before me, just like a person. This angel, he had a beard, he was wearing all white, he didn't have wings, and he was just like my best friend. And I could speak to him and he could answer me questions, and it was effortless. And I just knew that he'd always been there. And after I came out of that meditation, my whole life changed, because I had to try and understand it logically. I'm a very logical person, and so I went and I did this other meditation just by myself. So there's lots of different types of meditation. I'm actually running a 7-day meditation challenge starting in 2 weeks. So if you're interested in that, comment below. It's going to be epic. And this time I just did a quiet meditation by myself. And this voice that doesn't normally speak to me spoke to me in my head. And it said, everything happens for a reason. And I said, no, it doesn't. That's just spiritual bullshit that spiritual people say to get away with having to take responsibility for their lives. This is what I said. And it said, no, think about it scientifically. Everything happens for a reason. So I said, okay. If everything happens for a reason, then the opposite of that is that everything must be total chaos. So I thought about it from both perspectives, and I just sat there and I just really connected, and I thought about my life from the perspective that everything was total chaos, that there was no design to it, and it just didn't make any sense. It didn't resonate with me, and I didn't even know what resonate meant, but I just didn't feel right. And then I said, okay, what if everything happens for a reason? Show me. And then something clicked like this, and then it went boom, like horizontally. That's the best way I can explain it. This thing happened, and then I could see my whole timeline. I could see every event in my life and why it had to happen, and how that event allowed me to be that speaker that I was in that place in Vietnam, to help those people to step into this full life I had. designed for myself. I had to go through all of those traumas, all of those challenges, all of those struggles. And this happened in a moment. It's like they say, when you die, your life flashes before your eyes. It's kind of like that. But it was also so deep and in depth into all of them. And then I just knew that there was a design. I knew there was a plan. And I said, if there's a plan, there must be a planner. And then something went like this, but this time it was up. And then I got this connection to this white light in the sky. And I call it Source, or God, or the universe, or Creator. You can call it whatever you want to call it. I got this connection, and then all of a sudden this stuff started downloading into me. I was filled up with this light. And then I realized I could ask questions and I would get answers. And ever since that day, I've been able to communicate with something, whatever you want to call it. I ask questions, I get answers. And that was my awakening experience. Then I started attracting all these different healers and teachers, and I've learned from some of the best masters in the whole world, and people just want to teach me. And I've had this super accelerated journey of learning how to do energy work, and I've been on so many courses. I've learned Reiki and Theta and regression techniques and timeline therapies and all these different things, DNA activations. And it's just been so effortless, because I think the secret was, or the key was, I was open. I was aligned, and I asked. We have to ask. We have free will. These things can't interfere unless we allow them to. We have to ask for guidance. And that was my experience. So let me know what other questions you have. I'm going to stick around for a little while longer. Gabby says, oh my God, I think I've met my guardian angel now that you're saying this. That's incredible. Yeah. There's so many angels who help us all the time. Angels are just beings of light. It's actually very scientific. There are whole books written about the science behind angels. I have no doubt that angels are real. I experience them. They help me in so many different ways. And we all have access to this. And if you had told me like 4 years ago, 5 years ago, I would be writing a book teaching people about meditation and connection and God and the universe, and I would have said you were crazy. But this is what I do. I'm running a 7-day meditation challenge. It's actually starting really, really soon. I'm going to take you through lots of different ways to meditate. So by the end of the 7 days, you will be super good at meditation. And we're actually going to do this guardian angel meditation together as well. So if you're interested in that, do comment below or send me a message. I'll send you the link. It's completely free. Basically, it's 1 hour a day. So I'm going to invite people to wake up with me at 6 a.m. every morning, and we'll do the meditation and some other cool stuff through till about 7. So we start our day in a really powerful way. And it's one of my favorite things to do. I can see so many of you watching. Let me know what questions you have. What would you love to know about me? You've got me here. You can ask me absolutely anything. I'm an open book. Just going to take a few breaths. Been talking for a while. Let me know if any of this resonates with you as well, by the way. If you're feeling this, if you think I'm absolutely crazy, I'm a massive geek around quantum mechanics, physics. So if you want to geek out about this stuff, we can totally go into it. I love talking with very logical people. I have a friend. He's like, Luke, like, I just don't believe anything that you're talking about. I don't believe in God or angels or anything. And I said, what do you believe in? He's like, science. I'm like, great. I said, what do you think creates everything? He says, consciousness. He said, we're just saying the same thing in different words. That's exactly the same thing in different words. So if you have any questions, let me know. What do people ask me a lot? I left a cushy corporate job. I was a sales director for an international software company. It was very well paid. And I just knew I was destined for something bigger, and I had to follow my calling. And so I started this journey of becoming a public speaker, of expressing my truth, of making videos. Started my own TV show called the Standout Online Show. Started interviewing people and really just doing the deep work to open myself, to strip away whatever wasn't really me, and invite in and allow in more of who I truly am. And I guess this is my invitation to you right now. There's nothing more important that you can do than figuring out who you truly are. This is what my whole book is about. I have a model in there called Who Are You? And who are you is one of the deepest things you can possibly learn about. First, it's about the W. This is waking up. Most of you watching this, you're probably already awake. You're probably already conscious. You probably have already started on the path of waking up. It's like in the Matrix when you take the pill, right? There's no going back. You just start to see that there's more to life than you've been told. H is about honesty. This is where you need to get really honest with yourself. What do you love? What makes you happy? What legacy do you want to leave? What needs to change? The O is all about observation. This is where you just start to really become the observer of your life. See things from a bigger perspective. See things from the perspective of the creator, of Source, because Source loves everything. It's all love. Everything is beautiful. You have to have darkness to have light. You have to have good to have bad. You have to, if there's no such thing as slow, there's no such thing as fast. Like everything is contrast. This frees you from the trap that most people are trapped in. A is about awareness. And I share in my book some deep awarenesses. And if you go on my YouTube channel, there's a video there called 3 life-changing things that everyone needs to know. If you check out the 3 life-changing things video, I explain this whole awareness section there. It's a whole 1-hour lecture talk that I did, presentation. Let me know when you watch that, because your mind will be blown. Even if you've been doing this deep work for a while, like, check that out. I really recommend it. I'll post a link. R, all about reactions. Most people spend their whole life reacting. They're reactive beings. Something happens, you react. Something happens, you react. When you want to be truly happy, you have to understand your reactions. You need to become consciously aware of your actions. This is where you get the power. With consciousness, you get to choose how you react. Conscious actions instead of just unconscious reactions, which is where most people are. E, all about emotions. I go deep into this. This is based a lot on the work of Abraham Hicks and their emotional guidance scale. I really break this down for you. I added my own things in it too. How can you really start to get in touch with your feelings and process them and use them? Because your emotions are your guidance system. They're here for a reason. And once you know how to use them, your whole life will change. It becomes so much easier and more fun. The Y. Y is all about yourself. Yourself. 2 different words. Yourself. Understanding yourself. But what is yourself? What is the self? Now, I break this down into 4 aspects. Your physical self, your mental self, your emotional self, and your spiritual self. And we go deep into what you need to do to align all of those and get connected with all of those different aspects, because most people are so disconnected from their bodies. We poison our bodies, we abuse our bodies, we're not taking care of ourselves. And we wonder why we get sick. Most people are so disconnected from their mind, their beautiful mind. They let their ego run the show. They're like They're on autopilot. They're not implanting good thoughts. They're taking in so much negativity. They're watching mainstream media and they're just overwhelmed with all of this nonsense. And so they lose that essence. They lose that focus, because focus is the key to creation. If you want to manifest something, you have to focus intensely. If you're going to carve a statue, you need to focus intensely. Whatever it is you want to make, focus is the key. So you have to get your mind right. Emotions, we just talked about your emotional self. You have this thing called an emotional body. Your cells and your DNA, they store memories, they store emotions. Emotions are energy in motion, and energy can never be created or destroyed. It can only be transferred. So when you push down your feelings, they don't go anywhere. They stay there. They get trapped. And this causes all sorts of dis-ease in your life. And then fourthly, the spiritual self. This is whatever that highest version of yourself is. That thing that's bigger than all of us. That thing that guides us. Whatever you want to call it. Your soul, your higher self, God, like whatever you think that thing is, when you have a connection to that, your whole life will change. So that's the U. O stands for others. Understand your connection to others. Understand your connection to nature. You are nature. Nature is here to serve. You're here to serve. You're here by, rivers flow, and when a river flows, they don't drink their own water, but that water gives everything else life. The sun shines, and when it shines, it's shining for all of us so we can live, and without it we wouldn't be able to. So how can you understand your relationship to others? And this is where deep connection comes in. The only way a lot of people know how to connect with others in an intimate way is through sex, but it's very physical sex. It's not deep, it's not soul level, it's not nourishing, it's not conscious. And this is why we started our Academy of Conscious Sexuality. So we have online courses, we run retreats to teach you how to enjoy life, connection, intimacy, relationships, sex, consciously. And that's not something that most people are taught. And then finally, the U stands for universe. This is where you get some deep truths, deep truths. Like, I just made a post on my Facebook today about the connection between us and nature. Like, you are the universe. The universe is you. We are all one. We are all connected. There is no difference on the deepest quantum level. I am you, you are me, we are all part of the same thing. Oneness is real. Every particle in my body is connected to every other particle in the entire universe, and so is yours, and beyond, multidimensionally. It blows your mind when you really feel into it. So I invite you in your meditations, connect to that. So that's the Who Are You model. WHOAREYOU. Wake up, honesty, observation, awareness, reactions, emotions, yourself, others, and universe. So that's what I teach in my book. And it's 13 chapters, 13 processes where I take you through step by step everything you need to know to be connected, to be aligned, and to be happy. If that sounds exciting, I'll post a link below where you can register for your copy. It's just been an absolute journey of 2 years to write it. It's taken me 2 years to get this stuff down. All the best bits I've learned from traveling all over the world, learning from great masters. And I just want to give it to you and to everyone. And in my visions, it sells millions of copies, and I'm international bestseller. And whether that comes true or not is completely up to the universe. And I hold no attachment to it, but I hope it reaches millions of people. I hope it changes just one person's life. If it can change millions and make their lives more fun, more interesting, then that's going to be incredible. If you do have any more questions, please do comment them below. I'd love to answer them for you. And I'd love to make more of these videos too. So if you make some questions below, I can save them up for the next video. This is something interesting that one of my mentors does, this Ask Me Anything. So something I want to do more of. I'm going to sign off now. thank you so much for watching, listening. I hope you found this useful. I hope you feel like you know a little bit more about me. And yeah, I really just encourage you. I just love to leave you with this. There are people out there right now, there are souls out there right now who are just waiting for you to shine your light brightly. You're like a lighthouse. They will see you shining and you will attract these other shiny people. But if you don't dare to shine, then how can the shiny people find you? So shine bright, be bold, be brave, and just know that you have totally got this.